This is a podcast about both having autism and living with someone who has autism. My mom is Sonya, and I'm Josh, and this is Josh Has Autism.
Hey everybody, welcome to Josh Has Autism.
Hello!
So glad you're here with us again today.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to jump right in, Josh. Next week is the election.
Okay.
Yeah. Here in the United States, it's the election. And what I want to talk to you about specifically about that is you thrive when life is peaceful.
Yeah.
When people give you a beat or two to answer questions. You need that processing time. You need volume to be low.
Yeah.
You know, you don't do well when people are elevated. And boy, right now in the United States, it's pretty bonkers.
Yeah.
People have their beliefs, and they are sometimes being very unkind, sometimes hateful, sometimes hurtful to people that don't agree with them.
Which is weird. I mean, everyone has their own view of things. Why try and force your view onto someone else?
What? You've been doing that to me for 32 years.
Yeah, but I'm not a politician.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I just think it's funny that you recognize that with other people, but you've been doing that. You oh my gosh, yes. But that's exactly what I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Really, which is, that's so funny to me. You don't do it in a forceful, mean, hateful way.
Right.
And you don't do it out of disrespect.
Right.
And that's a huge difference.
Yes.
And I would say that all the folks that I've had the honor of knowing that are on the spectrum are not behaving the way that a lot of people are behaving right now, which is just out of anger and hate and disregard for other people and how they feel. So I'm wondering, so we don't really talk politics to you. We talk a little bit about
things going on that affect me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you hear about things that don't affect you.
Yeah.
Dad and I watch news every night.
Which I leave for.
You leave for, right?
Because it's depressing.
Yeah.
It's like almost everything is just depressing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't want that kind of feeling in my life.
Right.
So whenever news comes on and it's all doom and gloom and things on fire and all this other stuff, I don't like hearing about it. I mean, I know it happens, but I don't want it constantly thrown in my face.
Right. Does it stick with you?
What do you mean?
So like the fires that you mentioned, the fires, when you see that and you walk away from it, does it stick with you? Does it upset you and you feel like you need to clearly remove yourself from hearing about that and watching that?
It's not because I don't want to hear about it. In this case, like with the fires and things like that, it's that I don't want to hear about people's lives being ruined.
Right. Right.
I don't want to hear about people dying.
Mm-hmm. Right. So there's been, more fires, there's been flooding, there's been hurricanes,
which, thank goodness we got out of Pensacola when we did.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's my understanding there's another one that's aiming right for Pensacola again.
I haven't seen the news today. I don't know if it hit today or if it's going to be tomorrow, but I believe it's over in New Orleans, which is just horrific.
Yeah.
For the folks that live there, because they have been hit time after time after time.
Yeah.
I said to Dad, I said, boy, if I was there, I would leave. And he goes, we did. well, right, not New Orleans, but yes, we most definitely left. And yeah, so I'm with you. I'm grateful for that. A thing that I don't, the thing that's going on in our country is that the difference this time, we have elections and people disagree.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, it feels different. It feels like a big chunk of our people in our country, they really hate the other people that have a differing opinion than they do.
Yeah.
And it's because it's just a stark contrast to one another.
Yeah.
And it's gone away from just having a different point of view, whether some of it's a political point of view, but also it's a point of view on what's acceptable behavior by others and what's okay.
Right.
And that's something that's really talked about a lot right now. And it feels to me kind of like chaotic energy. Doesn't feel kind of hard to relax, kind of hard to just find a peaceful state of being when there's all this chaos going on.
Right. Well, how do you think I feel? If things change, I have to learn things all over again. How to react in society.
If things change. If things change.
Yes.
Well.
No, that wasn't a good joke.
What do you think about politicians?
That they're just autistic.
What? Where do you get that?
They're set in their ways, and heaven forbid you try and prove them wrong.
Oh, so they think they're always right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I say this jokingly, but at the same time, it's kind of true. Right.
Whereas the difference is that you and other people on the spectrum come to that in an honest and pure way.
Yeah.
Whereas oftentimes politicians do it for self-serving ways that are like, what can they get out of a situation?
Right.
How do they best benefit? Whereas with you, it's a core belief. It's a core trait that you're not saying what you're saying or doing what you're doing to hurt anybody else or to prove anybody else wrong. It's just important for you to get to be heard.
Yeah.
And for you to be able to have others value what it is that you say. Right. So I think it comes from a very different place. And I'm not saying that all politicians are bad. Right. What I'm saying that right now, the political experience here in our country is very
explosive almost.
It is, and divided, and people are getting hurt.
Yeah.
And to me, that's not okay.
That's not okay. That's not okay. Wouldn't want to see that, and people are having a hard time anyway with the virus. Yeah. That
businesses have been closed and family members have passed away, or some people get the virus and then they're alive, thank goodness. They're having to deal with the ramifications of what it's done to their lungs or their heart.
Yeah.
So we're being very careful. You and I, we already voted.
Yeah.
We went out and we voted.
Early, yeah.
Yes. And we did it in person, and we had, one person in front of us.
Yeah.
You and I went down to City Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And we chose a day I guess last week it was, or the week before that.
Something like that.
And it was in the middle of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just one person in front of us, and you know, it was painless. But voting in the past has not really meant much to you. You wanted to vote this time?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's important for people to vote. Whoever people are voting for, they need to. It's our right, and not every country has that right.
Right.
And so I feel like it's important for us to vote and participate in our government. And so anyway, I'm glad that you went with me and voted. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
How does it? So do you feel the stress that people are feeling right now? And do you, your friends,
in regards to
politics, I guess, because the vote's coming up next week, and the Tuesday,
mm-hmm.
November 3rd, is official election day.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have already voted,
mm-hmm.
but that's the official day. And like I said, it feels like people are so stressed out right now. I'm just wondering, are you experiencing anybody that's like that, or no? Because not only A, you stay to yourself anyway, and 2,
A and 2? Really?
you are even going out less and interacting less because of the virus.
Right.
Yeah. So are you coming in contact with anybody that is talking about politics?
More so in a joking manner, but yes, actually.
More than usual? Because it's prevalent, right? Because it's like right here.
Right, but a lot of the people that I play D&D with
Mm-hmm.
are not political whatsoever, so they make fun of both sides.
Okay.
And some of the jokes are hilarious, some of the jokes not so much.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I know that they're going to go vote.
Mm-hmm.
And that because it's important to get your voice heard and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that completely. Yeah. Are you? Go ahead.
The group of friends that I have online that I play D&D with,
Mm-hmm.
generally speaking, they can be serious when they want to be. They can joke when they want to.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my train of thought. I know it was about voting, but I don't remember what exactly it was.
I think you were talking about how they joke around a lot, but they take it serious enough to actually go vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's important.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just the energy of things, just because you're kind of isolated from all of it, does that mean that you're have not really been exposed a lot to a lot of the chaos that's going on? Like, we don't have to get into specifics. Mm-hmm. Are you aware of what's going on in the country?
Some. I mean, I know that there are a lot of demonstrations that are going on that are important to people.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, a lot of those are turning violent.
Mm-hmm. Does that scare you?
I mean, I worry about people.
Mm-hmm.
So let me put it this way. It is lawful and good to speak your mind. But for it to turn violent, it lessens the purpose.
It detracts from it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not right. Especially when other bystanders. Is that the right term?
Bystanders.
Bystanders are impacted because of it.
Right. Or people that didn't have anything to do with it, you know.
Right.
Were just
I
there.
I remember watching the news a few months ago. There was a riot going on. I don't remember where, but one of the news reporters got hit with a can in the face with pepper spray. Like the little ball thing of pepper spray.
Oh, right.
On camera. And he was just doing his job.
Right. I remember when that happened and you were so upset by that you thought, how could that happen to somebody that was there to do their job? They were just there working,
Yeah.
and then they got hurt
Yeah.
in that way. I remember that you were real upset by it.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is that we've talked about this before some, and that how there's a for a lot of years and for a lot of people, the thought had been, well, somebody with autism doesn't really feel. They don't really, have these experiences. And I would say that you prove that to be false over and over and over again. Because you talk about how when you feel something, shutting down is actually you feeling very intensely.
Yeah.
It's just the opposite. It's not like this lack of feeling. It's a feeling it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And when you have opportunities to talk to somebody through the years, because that's what we've helped you to do over and over again, you're very good at that. When you look at people on a larger scale like this, what we're talking about today, you also have that capacity that you're describing right now, is really feeling for the well-being of individuals that you don't know.
Yeah.
The interesting part of that is that if somebody came in and wanted to have a long-term conversation with you, and you had to look them in the eye, and it went on and on and on,
Yeah.
you would be like, at some point, I am done.
Yeah.
It's, and I think I just want to point that out, that it's not that there's a lack of capacity to care for other people. You have a limited time frame that you can spend in conversation with people.
Right. It's not even a set time.
Right. It could be different on different days, right? Different
Right.
people, different topic.
Right. And not only that, but it can also just be from the ambient level of stress that's around me.
Right. Right.
Like
Which is what I was asking about with this political environment that we're in right now. That was what I was trying to get at, and you put it far better than I did. Do you feel that? Do you feel that in the environment, that stress, that heaviness?
Yeah.
Does it make you tired?
Well, I've been sleeping till like 11 every day.
Yeah. Well, you think that has something to do with it?
Partially. Maybe not in the sense that you're thinking of, but probably more in the sense that I'm just exhausted by the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to deal with it
Mm-hmm.
anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to sleep it away.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that are needing mental health moments or breaks or mental health days.
Yeah.
You know, how about the rest of the week? There's, if the election's coming up, I think we could all use a mental health consecutive days until the election. But what I wanted to say is that you have this capacity. It's just who you are, that you care about people and you don't want to see people hurt. You don't want to see people go through something uncomfortable.
Right.
And I think it is a myth that, I mean, when you were younger, I was told that was one thing that would be lacking. And yet it comes easily to you.
Yeah.
It's part of who you are. It's an innate part of your being.
Yeah.
And just because maybe somebody can't express that, maybe somebody's on the spectrum and they can't express that the way that you are right now,
Right.
does not mean it's not there.
Right. Exactly. And it's not just that either. It's I know that whenever you meet someone on the spectrum, it is. Let me try and gather my thoughts real quick. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's all right.
I know that some people on the spectrum will regurgitate what they heard.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Which is gross sounding, but still.
They will mimic.
Yes. They'll mimic what they've heard without always understanding what they're saying.
Correct.
Now, sometimes they do understand what they're saying. What I'm trying to say, though, is that sometimes we don't always know how to make friends with other people.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we try and, like you say, mimic things that we've heard to try and get a better understanding of not only what we've heard, but to see if someone might befriend us.
So that somebody might, you might be able to connect with somebody.
Yes.
Right. Because you're saying that, because you have a lot of friends on the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that your friends on the spectrum, that you all want the same thing, which is to, at varying levels, but you all want to be part of something. You all want to have friends, and you don't always know how to go about doing that.
Right. Maybe not all have friends, but at least have companionship.
Right, got it. There's a difference there. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact, though, that you have a heart for others is something that I really want to stress right this second, because I think it's a misconception a lot of times that's not there, that's not available to you. And just because you don't know how to always express it doesn't negate the fact that it's there.
Right.
And it's a part of who you are.
Right.
And sometimes it could come off as you being aloof, or like you with your friends, joking about everything, and that's a good thing. That's a real good thing. But what were you about to say?
What you started with really reminded me of a song.
What?
It's cold as ice.
Oh, cold as ice. No, that is not what I was saying.
That's what it started out sounding like.
Yeah, no. I was saying the opposite. I was saying that's so funny. Yeah. No, that is the total opposite. Actually, I was saying that your warmth doesn't always come through.
Yeah.
People don't always pick up on that because of your because you need a couple extra beats to process. You need a couple,
And even then, sometimes I am not able to articulate as well as I should. And I mean, it's happened with you even, where I say something that I say it wrong, and you get an impression from that.
Mm-hmm.
When it's not the impression I'm trying to make at all. So it's on me choosing the wrong words or choosing the wrong tone of voice or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not trying to blame anything on you.
No, I think what you just said is, I think it's a funny thing saying I should. It's so relative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my gosh, I should. That's probably something that needs to be taken out of our language. Our conversations that we have with ourselves all the time anyway, because
should've, could've, would've.
Yeah, it's just
yeah.
Set you up for feeling crummy. Yeah. What was the last thing you just said? Because I was going to say something about that, and I forgot.
The last thing I said?
Mm-hmm.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda?
Before that last thing.
Okay.
Before that last thing. Yeah.
The last thing I said was... before you started talking, it was... If I remember correctly, it was something along the lines of...
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. I don't remember what it was either. I was going to make a point about it, but I don't know what it was. Getting back to the politics here, I think that politicians a lot of times are very rehearsed.
Yeah.
And are saying the things that they think will sway people to do or think the way that they want them to.
Yeah.
And
which is almost anathema to me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because I say what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly.
And all the politicking and double talk and all this other stuff, it's not who I am.
Right.
So to hear all this stuff going on,
right,
it's just not cool.
It can feel overwhelming, right?
Yeah, so I leave the room.
Good enough. Good enough. Well, all right. Well, let me just say to everybody, if you have not voted at this point, you can't vote by mail anymore because it won't get there on time.
Right.
If you haven't voted, please go. You can vote early in person.
Only for a couple days now.
Only for a couple days. You can drop off, from what I understand. You can drop, even if it was a mail-in, you can drop it off in person.
Oh, okay.
But by mail, it's not going to get there in time.
Right.
Regardless of who you're voting for, vote. Vote. We live in a country that allows us to do that, and it helps to keep us a democracy. So do that. And good for you if you did or if you are. It's awesome. So we're going to wrap this one up. Listen, you can check us out, sonyaking.com. It's SONYKING. That's my website. This is Josh Has Autism. You can find us there. You can also find us lots of other places, iTunes and YouTube and all tons I can't, Spotify, things I can't remember.
Yeah.
Give us 5-star if you would, as usual.
Helps us get seen easier.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And we appreciate you listening and hanging out with us. And we will talk to you next week. Love you.
Bye.